Mr. Llewellyn's been in a car accident. He's got a responsibility to report that to law enforcement and his insurance company. He's going to call 911 and he's going to get his documentation ready for the police officer as he's arrived. The officer is going to need his driver's license, his registration, and his insurance. As the officer approaches, Mr. Llewellyn's doing the right thing. He's not going to make any sudden movements because the officer doesn't know if he's a friend or a bad guy at this point in time. So Mr. Llewellyn's keeping his hands up on the wheels. He's going to answer the questions the officer has for him. Have you been in a car accident?
Yes, I accidentally ran over a nail back there and then I hit the car in front of me.
Do you need an ambulance? Are you hurt?
I don't think I am, officer. Thank you for asking.
Is anybody else hurt?
I don't have anyone with me, officer. It's just me in the car.
Without reaching for it, do you have your driver's license?
I do. I have it sitting here on the console beside me.
Do you have your insurance and registration?
I do. It's in the visor right above me.
Is this your vehicle?
It is.
Okay, was anyone else in the vehicle with you at the time of the accident?
No, sir.
Okay, if you would go ahead and get your documentation. Go ahead and remain in your car until I done copying your insurance, driver's license, and your registration.
Thank you, officer.
A lot of people ask me as a police officer, how do I get out of a traffic ticket or a speeding ticket? The best way to get out of that ticket is to be cooperative and to make sure you have all your documentation. Every time a police officer walks up to a vehicle on a traffic stop, he's putting himself at risk by oncoming traffic and the unknown of what the driver is going to do to him or his passengers. If the police officer could do his job quickly, he'd rather have a nice cooperative talk with the driver and make sure that he understands what he did wrong, and they can go ahead and do corrective action, which would be Mr. Llewellyn not speeding anytime in the future. Mr. Llewellyn has a flat tire. He needs to find a safe place to change his tire out of the roadway, someplace that he'll be safe from oncoming traffic. He needs to turn on his hazard lights so other traffic can see him, and if he's in an unsafe area due to the road or weather or being nighttime, he can also call 911 and the officer will come out and assist.
So Pennington, thanks for coming out. I've got a flat tire. I'm going to need to change it. I'm either going to have to find a spare tire or call someone to help. Is there anything you could do?
Well, Mr. Llewellyn, do you happen to have a spare tire with you?
We can look in the trunk. I'm not real sure.
Let's look in there and see if you have a spare.
I don't see one, officer. Is there anything that we could do?
Well, first of all, you pulled off the roadway. That's good. You pulled off the roadway. That way we don't have to worry about any oncoming traffic. And you had your flashers going. You still got them going. Keep them on the whole time. What we can do, I don't have a spare tire that fits your vehicle. But what we can do, we can maybe call you a tow truck if that would work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, let me give them a
All
call
right,
here.
thanks.
All right.
First thing that you always need to know is where your manual is. Most vehicles, they will be in your glove box. And the importance of this is going to tell you where your jack is, where your jack tools are. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how the jack works. We've already assembled our jack tool. It came in 3 or 4 different pieces. As you can see, it just snaps together, comes apart really, really easy. I do want to show you, it's important that you find the part with the hook to go on the end of. This tool is used for 2 things. The first thing I'm going to show you is it makes the jack go up and down. So I'm going to let you do that, Reed. I'll put it in there, and all you got to do, let's see if we can get it in there a little further. Now just turn it. It may take assistance to have somebody hold the jack underneath, or we can just hold it down. And we're going in the downward motion, so he's taking it all the way down. Got it? If you went the other way, it would raise up. So clockwise goes up, counterclockwise goes down. So most vehicles have some sort of mechanism to lower the tire under the vehicle. Some small cars will have your tire inside of your trunk. It depends on the vehicle, but most trucks and a little bit larger cars, the vehicle will be underneath of them. Mine's equipped with a lock back here so people don't steal my tire. So I just have to unlock it with my truck key and pull it out. I'm gonna go ahead and try to do that right now. Once I get that out, we're gonna use the same tool that we used for the jack. And we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. Now there's a sleeve in there. It's gotta go straight in there, you see it? Push it all the way in. Keep going. Start turning counterclockwise. There we got it. You feel it kick in? So he felt it kind of locked, didn't it? So now he's gonna have to really turn hard to make this tire come down. So come over here on my side. Take your hands in. It might take both of you because it's never been down. It's down, lowering it down. And we probably won't lower it all the way down, but we're gonna go ahead. Yeah, I don't know if this spare tire's been down ever. Good job, guys. So if you can see below the bumper, the tire is starting to come down. It's on a cable. It has a little mechanism that fits through the center of the tire that holds it. We got to go till the tire is all the way on the ground to get that tire off there. Now the tire's good, right? We can take this tire and use it for changing the other side. I got two different tools that we can use. We can use a breaker bar or the factory lug wrench. This particular vehicle has a little hubcap that has to be taken off before my wrench will fit. When I go to try to put my wrench on there, it won't fit on the lug. It appears like it's not going to work. So I'm going to set my breaker bar down. There's a little notch in the side of my hubcap where that same hook can fit in. So I'm just going to take it and take that little hubcap off. You hold that for me, guys? Once I've done that, I'm not jacked up. The weight of my vehicle is still on the ground. I'm going to barely break each one of these lugs. Notice it's not taking a lot of force. So that's 1, 2, notice my truck's a little bit on an incline, so that causes me a little bit of concern. Ideally, I would have found a flat piece of pavement to stop on, but I had a flat tire here and I'd have to stop right here, so I got to prepare. So what I've done is I've just found something that I could use as a chalk. It's not a great chalk. I would say a piece of wood would be better, piece of metal, anything on the side of the road that can help prevent this vehicle from rolling backwards. This truck is a rear-wheel drive truck. I know you guys don't really know what that means, but that means all of the brake of the transmission is on my rear wheels. And if I raise my rear wheel up, it could roll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my emergency brake, make sure it's in park, and then take this tire off. So we've taken our manual, we put our jack under there, we've raised it just barely off the ground. You can see my tire will just barely move right now. So we've got it off the ground, we're preparing to take it off. We're going to take all 8 lugs off now. So they now we got the tire loosened up, we can pull it off of the lugs. Just pull that off. Earlier I talked to you about having a jack stand, and I'm going to show you where I would put that. But if I didn't have one and I was on the side of the road, the one thing that I would do is I would lay my good tire down like this and set it under the frame. If I do that, if it falls off the jack, it can only fall that far. It's just really important you put it up far enough you can't get your hands between the wheel and the frame because they can smash it. So once you get that far, you get the spare that we lowered down earlier, and you would put it back on by repeating the steps or reversing the steps that we just did. Everybody thinks putting a tire back on is super easy. This tire probably weighs, I don't know, 70, 80 pounds. So it's not something that you can just throw around wherever you want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it as close as I can, and I'm going to angle it in around my hub. When I get it there, I'm going to scoot down to the ground and I'm going to use some leverage to set it on top of the hub, slide it back, and I actually got super lucky first try and it hit. Normally, you have to rotate it around to get it in there. So push the back in, push it all the way on, and then we're going to go back to our lugs. Now this is actually a pretty important part of the process, how you put these back on. More so the tightening than anything else. Start off by going all the way across from each other. We're going to make what's called a star pattern. So I'm going to put that one on, and then I'm going to try to push this with my foot all the way in. Put the one all the way across from it. So then I'm going to go diagonal. We're going to snug these up before we let the jack down, but not try to over tighten. So I'm just going to put it on there. You see I got almost a whole nother turn out of that one. There's another turn. So that's just kind of snug. Always, always, always go in that star pattern. Go diagonal. Try to keep track of how many you've done. This is pulling your wheel parallel to your hub. In math class, you learn about parallel. In order for your wheel to rotate correctly, it's got to be parallel with your hub. Put your hubcap back on, and you're ready to go. However, you're not done. So you need to go back to your dealership and have your wheels torqued. It requires a special wrench. This puts exact amount of pressure on each one of the lugs. And you're not going to have this on the side of the road, so you need to make sure you do that, or else they can loosen up and come back off.